This is the Skunk Fam podcast. Today we're doing an episode with aquaponics. Right now we're just waiting for him to join up, but Blue Skies and I are going to go ahead and continue on with the conversation we were having.
Yeah, I've only got an hour to record today, so I thought we would just start the podcast without aquaponics, and when he does join us, we can give him the floor, as it were. Because like today, I've only got 1 hour to record, literally an hour from now. So I invited aquaponics on to talk about his projects that he's done in South Africa, where he had a bunch of Boss and Town tickets, and he's made a large number of seeds, both in quantity and in variety. But as we're going to be focusing on the Town tickets with him today, I thought we could start with you telling us about the current Town tickets and the other things you're growing at the minute, bro. You can
right now I would say that the Town tickets and the Skunk Hazes are really showing out. I'm seeing a lot of diversity, especially in the Town tickets. I'm seeing a lot of taller plants this round than I've ever seen before, and a lot of different leaf shapes. I will say that I think it's 3 Town tickets I have in flower, maybe more. I have to count them. These ones that I've got going now have more skunk, like pure skunk spray traits than I've had on the first Pheno Hunters pack I popped. So I'm really excited to see how these transform over the next couple weeks. And yeah, we were talking about the cross that I made, the purple grapefruit to the burnt rubber skunk. That also came out of the Pheno Hunters, which later became the Terp tickets, right?
Yeah, the Town tickets are the Pheno Hunters with the 4 new varieties added. The 4 new varieties being Pineapple Fuel Skunk Haze, Classic Skunk Haze, which you're growing now, and the 2 Cherry Cola varieties that I made. So I added those into the Pheno Hunters mix to make the Town tickets. Yeah,
I will say that the Pheno Hunter Terp tickets, they're the most diverse pack I've ever popped. I mean, literally the first 10 seeds I popped were all completely different. They all had their own unique, distinct aura about them, honestly. Like everything completely different.
Well, that was intentional and to be expected, because as I've said like numerous times now, the Pheno Hunters, before I added the Town tickets, they already contained the offspring of around 60 plus. It was between 60 and 70 mothers, beautiful females, all unique in their own way, which I selected out of around 200 plants. And as I said, I was left with about 60, 70 that were, aside from my skunks that went into the Boss packs, that I just did not want to discard, and I didn't necessarily have the time or space to work with myself. So I made them available to the community because they were all super special genetics originating from Old Timer One. You can clearly see, especially people who were following in the early days when I made those seeds and I documented their creation. Really, it was like looking at a 1985 seed bank catalogue brought to life. You could see everything there, the plants from all over the world and from all across time, originating, as I say, from Old Timer One's collections. So every plant in the Pheno Hunters mix, the mother was special in some way, had a terp profile that was unique, or just, was special, that are not something that I was not going to throw away. And so, yeah, they went into like a random mix, as it were. I put all the seeds from all the different plants into one giant container, mix them up randomly. And so that is why every seed pack is different. So no 2 packs of Pheno Hunters or Town tickets would be the same as any other. And just a truly unique set of genetics, giving I like how you called it a new subgenre of cannabis, because that really is what it is, down to the fact that nobody else has these genetics prior to me releasing them, because they were from Old Timer One, who kept all this stuff pretty secret and private. And it was my own unique work done with them over the years that ended up in the result in Pheno Hunters mix. So they're very, very unique, very special, very rare. And yes, every pack, it's expected that you'll find a wide range of diversity, because that was the intention behind them.
Absolutely. And when you do pop these packs, you just stand back and you look at the plants, and there, some of them will have a common characteristic, and generally I've noticed it's like the serrations or even some of the leaf shapes, but then you stand back and you look at them and they're all so incredibly different. It really is a sight to behold. I mean, words can't really express how amazing these plants are. I find it hard to describe them a lot of times. It's even like the terp profile. If I'm just trying to describe it, I would be doing it a disservice just because it has so many little nuances.
Well, within the Terptown tickets, you're going to be able to find every fruit that exists. Because I literally cannot think of a fruit right now that has not been found, from all the citruses, the orange, the lemon, the lime, the grapefruit. All of those terps have been found, and they're just very, very, very strong and bright terps. Then there's the berries, the strawberry, blueberry, probably some other type of berries, but yeah, very strong blueberry and strawberry terps. Cherry, some very strong cherry and cherry Coca-Cola. But there's banana being found, there's apple, lychee, mango, durian fruit, that disgusting smelling fruit from Asia.
And that's supposed to smell like a rotting smell, right?
I guess so. I've never personally smelled it, but it's supposed to be just very disgusting. Apparently, in some parts of Asia, it's illegal. I don't know if this is definitely true, but I was told it's illegal to cut one open in public because it's so offensive.
I've seen them. They look crazy. Like, I think they have the spikes on the outside, right?
I'm not 100% sure, but the first time I ever heard of durian fruit was when a skunk fan told us that they'd found a fruit that smelled of durian fruit, a plant that smelled of durian fruit. So yeah, in terms of, I'm trying to think what else fruits, but every fruit that I can possibly think of has been found in those packs. As I say, the composition of them is about, I'd say, 60% skunk, and about 40% all the other wild and wonderful things that Oldtimer One collected and incorporated into his work. There would be in there like a Play-Doh terp, which is a strange one. I found a plant, even right to the end of flower, it just smelled only of Play-Doh. There's vanilla, there's lemongrass, there's ginger.
You said there's even some clove and cinnamon too, right?
Yeah, cinnamon for sure, 100%. I found a lot of cinnamon. I'm trying to think what else. There's been a lot of alcohol terps like bourbon, red wine, actual kind of cleaning alcohol sort of smells. There's been all the chemical terps like the bleach and the lemon pledge furniture polish. There's just so much in there, in addition to obviously the nasty skunks, a skunk spray like you found. Tell us about that skunk spray one you found in there, bro.
Say that again.
So tell us about that skunk spray, because I was saying, in addition to all the fruits,
the skunk spray itself is just, that's the only way I would describe it, is just, it's just pure animal spray smell.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no other way. It can't be confused as something else, But I was just thinking, like, it is very interesting because, like you told us, Oldtimer One had cannabis from every, producing region on the planet. So that would make sense why we're smelling all the fruits,
Yeah.
Just because as what plants do, they mimic their environment, and then they use terpenes as a defense or a repellent or an attractant, So it's like, I'm not saying every plant
it's also like Joe said, Joe Pietri, he mentioned about the cocaine plants, about possibly the plants smelling like that because they're kind of adaptive. They take on the terps of things growing around them, and that is definitely, I don't know, I believe it could be true. I definitely believe that could be true, but I've also heard other people say it, like the mango terp, after plants growing in mango groves or whatever have been, I just don't know. It's because it's always something that's fascinated me. How does this one plant, cannabis, how does it contain such an incredible spectrum? I mean, I've heard other people say perhaps like it's possible, and again, I think this is possibly true, that cannabis can contain every scent that exists in the world. Because so far I've not really found anything that would dispute that, you know. So the tips are just such a fascinating area of cannabis. I see Aquaponics has joined us.
Yes, what's up?
Is he?
Are you muted?
Shannon?
Yes, hello. Good afternoon. Sorry, sorry about the delay, gentlemen.
That's okay.
No problem, bro. We just started this. I've only got an hour today, but you're here for the vast majority of that, so that's excellent. Very pleased you could join us, bro. So how are you?
No, I'm good, thank you. Sorry, I just had to close up the facility. We're just busy harvesting and we're trimming, and I'm trying to sort my seeds out, so we're very busy at the moment. But it's all very exciting. Thank you.
Yeah, you've done an incredible amount of breeding over there, I've seen. So what did you start with, bro? You started with one boss pack or two? How many boss packs did you have?
Now I started with one boss pack, and I germinated 5 of those, and I selected 2 out of the 5, 1 female, 1 male. And then I put the female into my mother tunnel, and the male I kept in a bag, and she was just an exceptional male, a very sturdy, strong, thick stem. But you know, the pollen on that male was like ketamine. It was just like thick layers of just looked like cocaine almost. But it was all over the place, and it was a very strong male and very skunky, but also a lot of citrus on him. He sort of evolved as he got older, and I was a bit doubtful as to whether he would do that whole tunnel, because the tunnel's a 30 by 10 meter tunnel, and they were all mothers that I'd selected, so they were all great phenos. And those were my mothers. And I realized that going through the end of the summer, I was going to lose those mothers. So I thought, well, I might as well impregnate them with a boss. I probably wouldn't ever get the opportunity to do that again. So I went for it. And surprisingly, he impregnated every single female in that tunnel, and properly. So I've got really, really nice selected phenos that are now all giving me seeds, which I'm busy with. There's so many seeds. It's just, you know, doing seeds is a
seed separation is such a chore afterwards, unless you've got some kind of special little machine for it.
No,
I've done it all by hand, and it's a nightmare.
Yeah, it's a nightmare, and everything's so sticky. But so I'm drying them out now in those boxes that I showed you with dehumidifiers, just to get most of the stickiness off. But the seeds are just exceptional. They're just beautiful, and so many. So I'm very, very pleased with the result. And
they are
the
beautiful.
whole idea, yeah, and the whole idea behind it was just to make sure that I had more boss seeds going forward. So that female, well, she was a very, very big female, and so I've got the BX ones on her now from that male. So that's great. And then that was the one breeding program that I did there. And then I did another one in a separate room, also an outdoor room though, with all the terpene tickets and the peanut butter breath skunk mints that I got from JR, and also some of those red hair Kentuckys. And I put them in there, and they all every single plant was different. As you know, they're all very different. They're all exceptional plants. Your plants blue.
Yeah, we were just discussing with the Tiptown tickets, the varieties, because they've got like about 60 plus different mothers in that mix, you know?
Yeah, and it just doesn't stop. And it just keeps evolving. So it's an incredible plant to work with. All of the plants are incredible to work with. And like you said in your adverts, you know, you've got heirlooms and hazes. And I mean, the hazes are like telephone poles. They're huge plants. But I see that these plants are very well suited to outdoors, which is ideal for me, because I'm putting up more tunnels. And the whole idea behind it is to actually try and breed a strain that is very different to what everyone else is doing commercially. I'd like to have different strains that are very different for my customers overseas. And that's my goal with your genetics, Blue. So it's looking very good. So I can't wait to actually pop these beans and see what they're going to produce.
Well, as I say to people, that is one of the things about the Tiptown tickets. They're almost every pack is a new seed company, because they are new. They're literally new. They are distinct from everything of the past 20, 30 years. Entirely.
They are. Even in Mama Kaya this morning, I spoke to her and asked her if she was going on. She said she's busy with harvest, and she's also a bit shy. So I said to her, don't be shy. It's really fun talking to these guys. And,
yeah, come on, Mama, if you're listening.
she is listening. So I said, it's really fun, it's cool. And she's nervous. I said, no, you must really just express yourself and what you've seen in the genetics. And then she said to me, what terps did I get out of the boss? And I said, no, I've got beautiful terps. But I actually said to her, I've got better terps coming out of the Terp Town tickets. It's a lot more of a variety because of the way you bred them, with the heirlooms and the hazes and the whole mix. So it's a smarty box, and every seed is different. Every plant is different. The expressions are different. Everything is different. No plant is the same. I haven't got a single plant that's the same from those bags. And I've still got another 6 Terp Town tickets and 3 bosses still to go. But I'm holding on to them because I see that you're running out now. So I'm a bit scared to lose all those. So
we'll always have more for you, bro.
So thank you. So that's the thing. I just didn't want to lose the genetics, So now I'm sure that I won't. But
and I would be more than happy to share anything I find with you too as well. I mean, honestly, when I make seeds in the future, and if I find anything that you want, you're more than welcome to try it out too.
That's wonderful. It really is. And I've also a lot of the Terp Towns. I've selected different breeding areas, and I put some Terp Town tickets and a boss female to. Don't shoot me, Blue, but I put them to that red hair Kentucky skunk male.
No, I remember because I said to you, you won't be very happy about that. I don't mind. I literally don't mind what people do. And as I said, it's probably got to improve it.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see what comes out of that. But I've done the BX ones on all of your plants, and now I put some to that as well, just to see what the different skunks express. So I'm just playing around with that. So. But now I've got so many seeds, I don't know what to do with all these seeds.
Well, I didn't count the exact number on the sheets, but I did a rough guesstimation. There's got to be more than 30 different varieties you made, yeah? New varieties.
You
pollinated.
There's about 42, excluding the skunk number 1, which is, the skunk was my primary goal for the whole breeding program. I've got 26 big mothers in there, and that was my goal, to get the boss to impregnate the skunk number 1, because that particular plant doesn't take seed very well either. She's very hard to impregnate, but she is loaded with seed. I mean, they're still standing, they still maturing those seeds, but everything else in the tunnel is out. But the skunk one with those seeds is just taking a lot longer than the rest. Okay. But I've got some beautiful seeds out of that now, so it's very exciting to have that.
So what sort of was the expression, the range of expressions of the Terp Town tickets you found in terms of terps? What fruits did you come across? You've come across many fruits?
Yeah, the most.
Oh, you told me about that tropical one, the tropical fruit one. That sounds amazing.
That's insane. That's got kiwi fruit. It's got pawpaw. It's a whole cocktail. There's just so many fruit flavors in there. It's a fruit cocktail. So even in my seed bank now, not my seed bank, but that box. I called it the fruit cocktail Terp Town ticket. It's just insane. And then the one's got a stink bug smell to it. I've got some with mint. I've got a very strong lemon one.
Yeah.
I haven't got the blueberry. I'm looking for that blueberry that people are talking about. I haven't found her yet, but I'm looking for it. But yeah, the terps are all very, very different, and they evolve. They evolve. So it's an amazing plant to work with. All of the plants are.
I'm very excited that you just said that one of your plants smells like pawpaws, because they grow here natively where I'm at, and I absolutely love pawpaws. They're just delicious. So they have that sort of custard fruit taste.
Yes, they do.
So that's very interesting. I've never heard of a plant. I've never heard of anyone with a pawpaw scented cannabis. So I'm very intrigued by that.
Go on, Shannon.
No, it's pawpaw, but it's got a lot. It's got granadilla. It's got we call it spunspick. It's a melon flavor, but it's just like drinking a fruit punch. It smells like.
Sounds delicious.
Sounds so good.
That's one of the hazes. That's one of those big, tall girls, massive plant. So it was very exceptional.
Did you find any kind of like the chemical smells? Any ammonia or bleach, chlorine or gasoline?
Yeah, only on one of them, the Terp Town tickets, I found it like a chlorine with a chemical kind of a background to it. but it didn't have a very skunky smell about it, but it had that chem flavor, that smell. So that stood out to me different. So I've kept every plant in their own box, obviously to keep the seeds as they are. And I'd all clear, no fill. I'll send you some of those fruit punch seeds from that Haze, no problem.
Oh, that would be incredible. I would really, really appreciate that. No rush. Whenever you want to do that, that's fine. But I've definitely got some amazing, amazing plants going this time. So I don't have any pollen right now to make any seeds, but if I find a male that strikes me, I'll keep it this time. But I will definitely have plenty of females. And I don't know if you've been seeing the skunk hazes, but that
your
is
plants looking exceptional.
Yeah, those don't get me wrong. Every plant I've grown from Blue Skies has had its own winning characteristics, but these skunk hazes, they have that spray, and it's from the moment you flipped a flower. I mean, honestly, you can smell it on the stem rub, but I don't ever try to cite that just because people like to criticize it. So I'm also trying to be critical of the plants as well. You know, I don't want my nose to lead me astray into thinking that it's something. I want it to actually be what I think it is. So yeah, the skunk haze is just straight up spray. I mean, it's really amazing, honestly. You know, I'm only 32, so I've known skunk bud, but I don't have an intimate relationship with it like a lot of the older people. But just smelling the skunk haze makes me feel very nostalgic. And I you know, I live in the Midwest of America, and so there's skunks around me everywhere, and it's an undeniable smell. You know, it just permeates the air. So I'm really excited to see some other people run these skunk hazes. And I'm excited to see how the flowers come out.
Well, I definitely had high hopes for those skunk hazes because the mother was what I call a classic skunk. No ammonia or anything like that. Just a skunk, a strong smell of skunk. And then the father was what I called a skunk haze pheno, and he was just, you know, extremely strong, pungent skunk spray kind of terps. So the two of them together, I thought this must be an incredible match. So it's kind of like a classic skunk cross a skunk haze, and so they were both overpowering, you know, really strong skunk. So they should really, the offspring should have a lot of strong skunks in there.
Yeah, I mean, when people see it, like what I'm seeing, they're gonna know. I mean, this one plant, and I think you guys have seen it, but the leaf is it's got to be over a foot long.
Well, wait till you run that outdoors, bro.
Yeah, that's inside.
Yeah, I see your plants inside, but you're doing a great job, because a lot of people that I've been watching on Instagram, those plants get out of hand, but I see yours are in the flower already, so you've kept them at a really good height.
I tell you what, you would be surprised at how little I do to my plants, especially this run. I haven't topped anything. I haven't done anything like I normally would. I would normally be topping and pinning down and training or doing this or that. I prefer this untopped natural method. I mean, the plants look so much more beautiful. I think they're happier too, you know, because yes, low stress training, it can increase your yield. Of course it can, but you know, your plant has to bounce back from everything you do to it. And like we've talked about on this podcast before, a day in a plant's life is like a year to us. So whatever you're doing in that one day, it's having a big effect on that plant. So it's got to bounce back over and over. And so I guess what I'm getting at is, just from what I'm seeing, the less you do to that plant, the more it's going to reward you, honestly. I mean, I keep the feeding the same, you know, I focus just on, you know, I give humates every watering. I always use yucca. I try to use a wetting agent. I think I really like what it does to my soil structure. I don't have any divots in my soil from where I'm watering and stuff. You know, it keeps it all in one nice area. You know, and I do all natural farming stuff. So yeah, I'm adding lactobacillus. I'm adding my IMO stuff, and I'm using my ferments, but it's really basic what I'm doing. It's nothing crazy. Now, I don't know how my stuff would work at scale, you know, but I really enjoy my process. And I think basically what I've tried to focus on with nutrition is, how do I get that plant to give me its most natural expression? You know, How do I step away and not influence this at all and just give it what it needs and then let it show me what it wants to do? You know, that's pretty much my whole approach now.
Will you have much flower that is unseeded that you'll be able to smoke and try, Shannon?
I do on the boss mother, I do, because of the one side of her was exposed to a bit of light, so she didn't actually take flowers. So she didn't take seeds, so she's flowering now. So I will definitely, I actually want to run a COA on her to see what she's got.
You should be able to make quite a bit of dry sift hash. I was thinking, if from your seeded plants, if you run them over a screen, because I made tons of dry sift hash when I was getting the seeds out.
Yeah, no, definitely. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be doing that, making the hash afterwards, but it should be some interesting hash with all different flavors and chirps going in there. But yeah, I want to actually send that flower for a COA, because I'd like to see what the cannabinoids are and what she's doing. Because I'd like to run her in a tunnel I'd like to run a whole tunnel of that boss female, but she needs to be close to 20% THC in order for me to be able to export her. Yeah. So that's what I'm just waiting to test on that.
I hadn't realised that you'd only run like a relatively low number of them. So you've still got some left out of a pack. And how, with the Tip Town tickets, that was IYB brought a bunch of cut-ins over to you, is that right?
Sorry, Blue, say that again?
I said with the Tip Town tickets, were they the cut-ins that IYB brought over to you, or did you pop your own seeds?
Yeah, those are the own seeds that I got from you. And then I purchased another 6 packs from IYB when he imported that whole lot from you. I bought more Boss and Tip Towns from him.
Oh, okay. So I thought he took a bunch of clones over to you at some point.
No, he was going to, and he was raided just before that.
Okay. Damn.
Yeah, they took all his material. So yeah. But he did have one, he had a couple of females left in the male that he has impregnated now.
Yeah, I saw he did a little video for shaking all that pollen all over it.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, it's very exciting. I love your genetics. It's so much to work with. Like I've always said when I started working with them, it's a lot. One bag of your seeds is a lifetime of work. It really is a lifetime of work. You can work with that one bag forever. You can breed on them. You can do anything with them. It's incredible.
Yeah, because imagine we find a plant that we really love, and then imagine the next generation. You don't even know what's going to come out of there,
No, you don't. Yeah.
It's going to blow your mind.
That's what I thought when I made those pheno hunters to begin with. I thought like there was enough here to keep me going for the rest of my life, without doubt. Just within this gene pool, there's a lifetime's work here.
Absolutely. So it's very worthwhile for anybody who hasn't bought those seeds. They're losing out, and yeah.
Well, the boss packs are very much nearly gone, and they were always considered like the skunk pack. So I think to begin with, people sort of were more focused on getting the boss packs, and it's good that people like you and Orkilla are growing out the Tip Town tickets to show what I've said about them, because everything I've said about them, obviously from the start, is true, but it needs verification from other people. So what you'll find in the Tip Town tickets versus the boss is, as I said, a whole variety of different things aside from skunk, but also the skunks that went into the Tip Town tickets were different to the skunks that went into the boss pack. And there's a lot more of a sort of a more sharper, chemically spray type skunks that went into the Tip Town tickets. And the composition overall was around about 60% skunk plants and about 40% of the other hazes and what I broadly term as heirlooms, being those ones that can't specifically say, oh, it's this, it's that, because Old Timer One never sort of bred them in that way either. So yeah, it's just basically a huge genetic treasure trove for people to go through and find their keepers. They're not worked in any way particularly or specifically. They were just literally, I knew I was going to focus on skunk, but I then also had this other 60-70 plants that were just so beautiful and unique and worthy of being released to the community, because they are unique to everything else that exists, really, you know?
They are, yeah. They are. They really are.
So yeah, people, I hope now, well, they don't really have much option if they want to keep getting seeds off me for the time being. Once the boss packs are gone, all I have is the Tip Town tickets, and I've got some, you know, Skunk Haze, quite large numbers, but I only want to really release the Skunk Haze to begin with to like the solid skunk fam that have proven themselves to be good people over this past couple of years, because yeah, I feel they are going to consistently deliver very nasty skunk. And that's what I didn't want to actually release to begin with. I wanted to release these mixed packs and diverse packs in order to, one, prove that I did have skunk, because I knew people would find skunk and verify it, but also to give people the spectrum of skunks, because there is, as I've said, this skunk that's just like a meaty carcass death skunk. There's skunk spray, there's skunk with lemon, there's skunk with all different nuances. And also, I didn't want to just release outright packs that were like 100% skunk spray before I got established, because I knew the kind of characters within the community and the kind of reception I would get, especially with such a controversial variety as skunk is, you know. I knew that there's going to be a lot of shit talking, a lot of fucking envy, and a lot of people just straight off ripping me off because they've got much bigger followings, they're more established and well known. And so I knew that if once I put them out there, you know, don't get me wrong, I wanted to put them out there to improve the general gene pool, as it were. But I knew once I put them out there, they were going to be beyond my control, and it was going to be a very stupid mindset to be upset with anybody doing anything with them, because once they're out there, they're beyond your control. So you've just got to be totally cool with that, you know, that anybody can fuck you and anybody's likely to fuck you. And that's what's happened. And so, yeah, in the future, I will release, you know, packs that just contain really rank, nasty skunk, you know, and there won't be the diversity going forward. But even now, I'm still very relatively unknown to the most wider audience. Obviously, since I joined Instagram, I've had these like 25, nearly 30 accounts, each of them reaching anywhere between a couple of thousand going up to about 8, 9, 10,000. But in the scheme of things, I'm still not very well known, you know. So I keep on gradually releasing better and better things as I get more and more well known, just so that people just can't outright fuck me, you know.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, the community is full of unscrupulous people whose only goal is to make a buck as quick as possible.
Well, I mean, I think people show their intentions pretty quickly, you know, like it doesn't take long for the shitty people to weed themselves out, honestly, you know. And my thing is, like, I just like to focus it on as like a group project, you know. That's what I feel like we're doing anyway. It's
well,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just saying, well, that's what I've tried to do. People like to say, oh, he's a divisive character and this, that, and the other. But actually, what I've done, if people look, is I've tried to create a community of good people. You know, I created the forum in order for the Skunk Fam to have a home to go to where it's free of drama, where it's censorship free, where your account's not going to get snitched up by, you know, children and all your work lost and gone. So I am trying to build a community like we used to have kind of, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, because definitely I think the sort of scene has changed in this last 10, 15 years, where people have seen that you can make a lot of money from seeds, and there's a lot of money to be made, yeah, no doubt. And that's just people's primary focus these days. So yeah, a lot of the community aspect where people are genuinely supportive and there's camaraderie has gone. So that's what I wanted to create with the Skunk Fam forum, and what we're doing now with the Skunk Fam podcast. It's about, you know, reaching out to the good people out there and putting out truth an information that's widely and largely suppressed.
Yeah, just imagine if you didn't have these genetics to share with the world, how boring it would be right now. That's my feeling. You know,
well, certainly nobody would have heard of me, because if I didn't have these genetics, I wouldn't put myself out there as a seed maker or breeder or whatever you want to call it, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, one thing it's definitely done is just opened up a wider conversation about genetics in general, and also about preservation, because we see people like Old Timer One passing away. What else is left of that aside from a couple people, you know? So I really hope people understand the urgency of this whole situation. It's really up to us to preserve this stuff, because if we don't, only the other shitty people are going to, you know? So we really do have a responsibility. That's how I approach it from my perspective. I just feel like I have a responsibility to make sure this stuff gets preserved and preserved appropriately, you know, and for everyone to use.
Well, my aim at the beginning was to get it out to as many people as possible, because I also know, although it's been great, it's been excellent having Joe Pietri on the podcast lately to tell us about the deliberate destruction of the genetics and the watering down, the dilution of them by Sam Skunkman on behalf of the pharmaceutical companies. I just knew that we're living in an era and a time now where people like Kevin Jodrey introducing phylos to the community. There's this direction where things are going to be patented, where they're going to be made not available to the people. So what I really wanted to do was, before this happens, before people start patenting and trademarking and all this business that's going on in the legal market today, I just wanted to get them out to people, as many different people as possible, so that it can't be sort of monopolized by nefarious characters that I knew existed, you know? And particularly to get them out to patients. Sorry, Shannon, go on, bro.
No, I'm in the same boat as Orchidonophyllum. That's why I jumped to breeding onto those seeds straight away. My first goal was to preserve those genetics so that they wouldn't disappear. And that, I think I've achieved that now. So I've got the same mindset as Orchidonophyllum. So it's great.
And that's what I encourage people to do. I encourage people to breed. Like I actively encourage everybody to breed with them. That all I ask, and all I've ever asked, is just give me some credit for what you've used. You know, it shouldn't be a big deal for people. I only ask them to do it so it keeps my name in current, and you know, just puts my name out there, because I want to carry on being a breeder and releasing seeds now until I die, I suppose. That's what I want to do with my life.
And not only that, I feel like if we don't keep your name in the conversation, it only takes a year before nobody even knows what happened. And all of a sudden, all these different things have new origin stories, as we see with other things, you know? So it's like, we have to keep the timeline accurate.
Yeah, I always said that there's going to be a whole bunch of amusing, stroke embarrassing and cringeworthy skunk discovery stories, you know, because that was just obviously going to be the case. I knew if people weren't going to credit me with them, and skunk hadn't been around in the past 20 years before my advent, as it were, then obviously people are going to be having to come up with some stupid fucking stories to say, well, they've now discovered the skunk that absolutely did not exist before I came along. And yes, as I've said a million times, yes, we know there's some old hippie or some old redneck up in the mountains somewhere who's got some skunk, but big fucking deal. He's got that one skunk, like that fucking Kentucky guy with his red hair skunk. All right, great. Maybe that skunk and it's skunky, blah, blah, blah. This one, I've put out dozens of different skunks for people. I've got all the skunks, you know what I mean?
That's and also like the ones where there's a crazy tropical profile, there's still some skunk in there too. It's just what you've done, you know, it really is.
Yeah. So
sorry to interrupt you there.
No, not at all, bro. So yeah, I just wanted to create a huge gene pool of something that was unique and totally distinct to what else is out there. Obviously, I knew from my own experiences with Old Timer One stuff, and obviously prior to him, I'd say I'd grown pretty much the vast majority of what was out there. I'm not saying I've grown every strain in existence, of course not, but I knew I'd grown most things and most genres, and many catalogs, complete catalogs of breeders, and I knew what was out there. And I knew that everything I grew and thought was good was not really as good as the best things I was finding in Old Timer One stuff. You know, is that aspect, the quality of the high, where it's this complete high. I'm looking forward to you being able to smoke some of the things you've just harvested soon, Shannon, and give us some smoke reports, because you'll probably be able to find, you know, even when I fully pollinated all the mothers that I pollinated, as you're getting the seeds out, there'll be plant material that's smokable, and it will give you a nice indication of what the unpollinated flower would be like, you know.
Yeah, I'll do an R&D run on those girls as well. I've phoned up a whole lot of them now, so I'm going to do an R&D run just to see what they produce in a commercial grow, just to compare against others, and then obviously do CRAs on them too. Because like I said, my goal is to run tunnels of your gear as long as it's up to scratch, and it should be. I mean, and, you know, I read the descriptions of the guys on Instagram who've actually had the pleasure of smoking your cannabis, and they love it. And the description of the high is just something that I haven't felt in a long time. So I'm looking forward to that feeling.
Yeah, what it is it's an elegant experience. Honestly, that's how I would describe it. It's like gentleman's cannabis, and gentlewomen too, and gentlewomen, gentlemen and gentlewomen, connoisseur,
and everything in between.
It really is that. I mean, that's just how I feel. I mean, I'm looking at this jar of purple grapefruit skunk right now, and I just wish that everyone knew what I was talking about when I said this, you know, because it's just so complex and so beautiful, you know, and it's versatile too, you know. I mean, the way cannabis should be. It gives me a happy, creative, joyful, upbeat high, but if I smoke it in the evening, I still get a good experience, you know. So it's just I'm ready for everyone who's growing right now to smoke their stuff so that we can talk about it, because and I really want to try the straight up skunks too, because I had a burnt rubber skunk, I would say, and then I had like a cabbage, meat, onion, and garlic skunk, but I want to smoke the straight skunk spray. That's what I want. And the skunk haze,
well,
you know.
Well, how long are you into flower now? 2 weeks or so?
Yeah, 2 weeks and a couple days.
Well,
but I will tell you this: with this flower schedule, they are producing much faster. They're already producing resin.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I have everything in line to make this probably my best run ever. So, I'm really happy with how healthy they were when I flipped. You know, they maintain that vigor through flower, because sometimes I think I may wait a little too long to flip, and then it just kind of stagnates a little bit. But this one was like a seamless transition. As soon as I flipped, I mean, these plants have really been extremely healthy from day one, honestly. I mean, you've watched them, and these have been, oh my God, they've been the fastest plants I've ever grown. I mean, the germination to where they're at now, this is the fastest turnaround I've ever had.
They've looked incredible from start to finish, bro. I've got to say, your plants.
I mean, they basically popped out of the seed ready to go. Like, I mean, it was just crazy, you know? So, and that's how every seed, well, okay, I've had some seeds that don't pop or whatever when I'm popping the larger amounts, but at the end of the day, you know, everything impresses me every time. So, and you know, I just love I love the feeling that there's like a bunch of people throughout the world who are doing this with me. So I really enjoy this, honestly.
Well, and I'm ready to see you. I love the fact that they're so popular in South Africa, because outside of America and probably even maybe Canada, South Africa is the biggest supporter of my work for sure.
Well, and you guys will be able to appreciate the sativas and things that you guys are already used to smoking, because it's like in America, if it's not an indica dominant hybrid, then people don't even know what the fuck it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? They've never grown it, and they've hardly ever smoked it. There may be one sativa at a dispensary or available on the streets here in America. Most of it is just the same type of weed, and they don't understand anything else. And to be honest with you, before I smoked Blue Sky stuff, I've never smoked anything like this before. It's like getting into a vintage Corvette or something.
Amazing.
That's how I feel. But yeah, I'm very excited to see what you guys say, and definitely Mama Kai, you should come on sometime.
How many kind of haze varieties did you find, Shannon, or sativa dominant?
3 of them. I found 3. They're very, very big, tall plants. They must have been 2 meters, at least 2 meters tall. They were actually, because they were in an outdoor room, but I didn't have a roof on it. And those 3 were towering above the roof level. They were huge plants, massive plants, tall.
Yeah, I've got a couple right now that are really tall, and they're praying so hard. It's crazy to see a super tall plant praying the way that mine are right now. I have to take a picture. It's the sharpest like angle I've ever seen a plant pray at. I definitely have to take a picture and show you guys.
So you've still got quite a few packs of the Tip Town ticket. Shannon? Hello?
I can hear you, Blue Skies. Are you muted, Shannon?
No. Can you hear me, Shannon?
Yeah, sorry, I can.
Okay. Yeah, I was saying, so you've still got a number of packs of the Tip Town tickets left?
Yes, I've still got 6.
Oh, wow. Because you're going to find so much more. You've got a lot more to discover there, bro.
Yeah, I know. But I've still got so much to work with from the first bag. So it's just amazing.
You've got your work cut out for yourself.
Are you able to pop large numbers?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I mean, we're on a licensed facility in the Eastern Cape, and we're using maybe a third of the property at the moment. So I've got a lot of space to do seedlings and even a gorilla grower.
Oh,
so
wow.
I can do that. I can do all of that. But now I've got so many seeds now. Yeah.
So how does the season run over there? What would you be able to start seeds now, kind of thing, or is it a year round? You can.
Yeah, year round. I can grow year round. Yeah.
Yeah. What type of dog you got back there?
He's a pit bull terrier, but he's a youngster. So I've only had him for a few months. So he's just finding himself now. I've got 2 of them.
Well, I'll have to have a chat with you. Possibly, maybe it's better off here, but I have to have a chat about possibly coming over to South Africa, bro. Because if you've got the space and there's an opportunity, I would love to come over and do something on a large scale again.
No, definitely, but you must come. And I want to take you up to the Transkei and show you the wild fields of cannabis growing there, all the land races, and show you the communities. And these people live on cannabis, but the land race. So now the whole deal now is that there's so many licenses issued in this country. So everyone's growing all these big strains. So the land race, which used to have a commercial outlet in this country, is now becoming null and void because the THC levels are so low. So now, going into big corporate cannabis kind of thing, it's basically being considered a hemp because of its low THC. Yeah. And there's thousands of hectares of this stuff. And it's just that they harvest it and they're stockpiling it. So, my first prize would be to get all of that cannabis and do an extract on that for oils and for medicine, because the medicinal value in that cannabis is so high. It's if you take a COA from cannabis grown on a strain of cannabis, you get maybe 4 different cannabinoids that come up in your COAs. But if you go up there and you take a sample of that cannabis at landrace and you send it off for a test, it comes back with 6 or 7 different cannabinoids and profound. The Delta 9s, it's highly medicinal. They're doing trials in it now at different universities for breast cancer and different cancers. So it's intriguing, and there's thousands of hectares of it. So I'd love to take you up there and show you that area, and then show you around ours, and then just show you how we do things in the country, and you'd love it. Have you ever been to South Africa?
No, I've not. I've spent a lot of time in North Africa, but I've not been to South Africa. Okay,
no, you must definitely come and visit.
I'd definitely like to come and do like a breeding project there. I'd like to pop as many seeds as possible, run through them, see what's there, and again for the medicinal perspective is that. So I know that is where the true value of my genetics is the medicinal value, because I think you're going to find the same when you test. Maybe not, you might find exactly the same the one you're going to test now, that one Boss Mother, but when we have other ones, when you test those, I think they're going to hit a broad spectrum of cannabinoids on the testing, and also they're going to hit every terpene profile possible.
can't wait to see the terpene profiles on your plants, because that's what it's all about. You know, the terpenes are going to be so medicinal in the future. And I do believe that your terpenes are going to be very different to everything else that we've got in this country. So that's what I'm really hoping
I think so,
for.
without doubt. I think so, without doubt, because they smell so different to anything. So therefore, the terpenes are going to be different. And
yeah.
This is the spaceship of cannabis. I'm telling you, it's just like, I don't even know how else to describe it. Like the terpene profiles are gonna. I'd love to see them analyzed. Like I want to see them on paper. You know.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'll send them to Blue first, and then with this permission, I'll put them onto Insta so people can see, because you know.
No, absolutely, put them onto Insta, bro.
Yeah, people need their eyes opened, I feel, because they're missing the boat here. I mean, even the texture of your plants. If you I don't know, Orchilophylla, but every time
I've noticed that too.
Yeah, those plants are like rubber.
Well, and he was saying like the texture of the resin itself is different.
It's different, and not the trichomes, the pistils on the bosses, they actually almost lie flat.
They look like yarn. They look like yarn.
Yeah.
Or
thread. They intertwine. Yeah, it's a very different kind of flower. It's a very different looking flower to anything else that you get commercially. It is very just the shape of the flower, the shape of the pistils, the way they lie on the flower. It's all just very different.
I've had the exact same experience.
Kind of wet like water.
Say what?
I said sometimes also the resin, when you touch it, rather than it being sort of sticky as you know you might be used to, sometimes it's almost wet like water. You touch it, it's wet, it's slippery.
I haven't had that, but the pine butter is one of the ones. It is very frosty looking, but when you really look at it under the scope, it has a lot less trichomes than say the purple grapefruit, but the smell is stronger. And the texture of the resin is like, it's sticky, but not as sticky as the purple grapefruit. So it's interesting to see the different styles of trichomes on these plants. I definitely think you should look at them under a scope, Shannon, because the types of trichomes, in my opinion, are very interesting. Like this purple grapefruit, all purple. All the resin glands are purple. Obviously, you know, that happens a lot, but it's very high in the resin glands.
Yeah, I saw Blue actually posted that magnified the photograph of those trichomes. It's stunning.
Oh, that was Soil Jedi. Yes, that was Soil Jedi did that.
That's beautiful, man. Absolutely beautiful, really. And the colors that your plants give. I haven't seen color yet because we've been in summer, but now going into winter, I'm going to see your colors. I mean, the colors I've seen on your plants are exceptional.
Absolutely.
Some beautiful purples for sure. Some and almost black plants. But yeah, that's why I would love to come over, Shannon, to be able to really pop a huge number of seeds, just so we can show everybody. So far, I'm almost feeling alone because I've been growing these for years, and I know what's within them, and even people growing like a few packs because of the diversity. They're still only seeing a glimpse. I'd love to be able to show people, you know, a huge grow where you could just see everything on the same day, you know, and see all these incredible sativas, all these incredible broadleafs, all these incredible purples, or I just would love to be able to see everything in sort of like one frame, as it were, you know what I mean?
I can tell you're holding it. I can tell you're holding it all in. Like you know how much is there, and it's like we're just getting a little trickle here and there. We're pulling a thread here and there. You're like, yes, that's that. Now, but so to me, that's very exciting about the skunks and the rank skunks and the that's what I'm really hoping to find this time is a nice spectrum, maybe like 10 or 20 different types of skunks, like plain skunk, you know. That's really what I want.
Well, I know if I went over to South Africa and had the space to work, if I popped everything, God, it would just be so, it would be so incredible. It would be amazing. It would be amazing. Because I think in that one season, we would find everything that we're looking for. We'd find the rankest skunks, the best blueberries, the most incredible hazes. And yeah, I just need space to work. It's so frustrating being in the UK and just everywhere I've been. You know, it's apart from when I was in North Africa, I was able to utilize a lot, even in Northern Europe where I was as well. at the time of the fire, I was doing big things. Unfortunately, there's a lot of content from that era that got lost due to snitching at my early Instagram accounts where I posted all that stuff on, and where I wasn't savvy enough to have them kind of backed up. So unfortunately, a lot of beautiful content was lost from that period, and I just want to be able to redo it again. I just want to get to work. It's like, yeah, it's just like my art in a way.
Yeah, no, but we can grow through winter, and we're about to go into winter now. So it's a great time because the summer grows, everything gets out of hand, it just goes wild. It's so big and just so fast. The winter's a very controlled grow. I mean, in summer, I don't even grow in aquaponics because the pythium of it hits every plant because of the heat of the water. So I just didn't bother this summer. So, but my winter grows in aquaponics are exceptional. So I'm looking forward to putting your plants into aquaponics as well this winter. So I'm toning up on your plants to do that as well. So, you know, there's so much to show you out here, Blue, and you'd really enjoy it. And the winters are very mild compared to yours. And we can do a lot whilst you're here. And, you know, I was just thinking too, if you, because you're probably only going to get a 3-month visa at this stage, but even if that could be long enough, if you wanted to send seeds out for it to germinate before you came, you could consider that too, to give you a step up. But just think about that. That's just.
Do they let you back in after, say you leave the country for a period after the 3 months is up? Do they let you in again shortly after that? Because when I was in North Africa, I could go in and out the same day.
Yeah, no, they will, not the same day. No, they've cancelled that, but it will be like 2 weeks or so. So you could go back and see your family and then come back again, no problem.
Well, that'd be the cool thing about that, because obviously I can trust you to actually look after the plants so I'm not there, because that's the other issue when you're kind of a solo operation. It's just like everything is on you. And like when I was in Portugal, I haven't told this story, I don't think, but people know about the fire, but they don't know about the spider bite that I had. I don't think I may have mentioned it once, but there was a spider bite. I got bitten by a poisonous spider on my ankle, and for a while I thought it was just like a tick because I didn't know there was these poisonous spiders out there. And I was thinking, oh, a tick must have got me. But man, it got to about the size. I don't know what coin to tell you, because we all got different currencies, but it got to like about a diameter of about, or circumference of like a few centimeter or two, this bite. And after a while, somebody told me, no, that's a spider bite. And they said, you better go to hospital because like people lose limbs over here. They lose fingers and limbs from these spider bites if they're not treated. But I was literally on my own out there. And I was like, fuck it, I can't go to any hospital. And so I remember just like there was a week, right, where I would wake up every morning absolutely saturated in sweat, but I was freezing cold. I would have these intense cold sweats. I was absolutely fucked, basically. I put RSO on this wound for weeks, and then my friend told me, like, no, that's a spider bite. And over there, thankfully, you can get, like, if you know what you're looking for, you can just go to the pharmacy and buy it. You don't need to go to a doctor and get a prescription. So I looked up online what antibiotic is used for the spider bite, and he went and got me these antibiotics. But the rest of the time I was just like soldiering on, watering by hand, where I was just like fucked up off the spider bite. So yeah, having somebody I can rely on to look after things when I'm not there is a bonus for sure.
No, that's all we do every day is look after plants, Blue. It's all we do every single day. We've got lots of plants here, so yours would only just fall into the program, so that's fine. You'll see when you're here how we operate.
Well, maybe next month in May, I can come out there.
Yeah.
This has got me really excited. I think you guys are going to be an amazing team. Like, I cannot wait to see this.
It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be wonderful. And you can even breed. Yeah, we can breed up as well, because we take it down to the bottom side of the farm, so nothing up on the top gets affected by the pollen. We can do that.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Yeah, this has been a great talk, guys.
Yeah, well, sorry, guys. This episode has to be a little short, so I've got to get off in about 2 minutes' time.
That's okay.
But, thank you very much for coming on, Shannon. Please come on again. It literally, if like in a week or two's time, you've had a chance to dry some material and smoke it, and you want to come on and talk about any beautiful flavors or smokes or effects that you want to come on, maybe come on with Mama Kaya, hold her hand.
Yeah. She's a big girl. She's a big girl.
Well, the thing about Mama Kaya is her name suggests possibly female, but all the time when I've been in contact with her, I always say, hey, bro, hey, bro. She's never corrected me. And then recently I've seen somebody referring to her as a female. I was like, oh, shit, man. Have I been called a bro all the time? So lazy. And she never corrected me or told me. She's a cool person, whatever.
Yeah, she is. She grows and her husband grows and her son grows. So they all grow. So it's just a growing family.
Well, that's amazing. We love seeing the plants.
A few extra people when I come out there. It'd be nice to meet IYB in person and maybe meet Mama Kaya. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great? You'll have a great time here. So you must definitely start planning it.
Well, I'm very glad that South Africa doesn't have a vaccination policy, or it's letting unvaccinated people in. I've still got certain issues with the PCR test. I'm not really ecstatic about having to have that done, but in the scheme of things, it'll be worth it.
It'll be worth it, yeah. I mean, I haven't had a test yet either.
Well, I'm not going to, I've literally got to get off shortly, but I've read a lot of nasty stories about, these PCR tests. It's not like having a cotton fiber swab put up your nose. It's actually these horrible nanofibers that are hollow and filled with the DARPA hydrogel that's actually in the vaccine. So if I could find a fucking way around of getting this PCR test done, I will do. But either way, I think, I'm going to die of something at some point, and I'm halfway through my life, and I've already survived ridiculous things such as the fire. So I'm a firm believer in what will be. So
the best is yet to come, man.
I wanted to touch on that actually. People don't know you, Blue. I mean, I don't even know you, but I look into your stories and everything. All your close calls to death have been based on your passion for the plant, which is I have great respect for that.
Absolutely, me too, bro. Yeah. Me too.
Well, we could talk a little bit more about the fire. Definitely come on another episode, Shannon, because I feel like we've cut you short slightly with this time frame. But I sometimes like talking about the fire because, I don't know, it was a crazy event that had a big impact on my life, and in some ways I've let it not affect me in the slightest, and I kind of gloss over it, and people don't realize kind of what an absolutely horrific fucking experience it was. Because when I do stop and think about it, I think fucking hell, man. Because I think some people think maybe I got a bit too close to the fire as opposed to actually being 360 degrees right in it.
That was insane.
Pretty fucking hardcore, man, I have to say.
Jesus.
And to come back and give us all these beautiful genetics, it really is amazing.
I'm blessed of being saved from it. The recovery I've had is insane. I mean, I could and should, I suppose, be some kind of fucked up cripple of, unable to do anything. But I remember when I was recovering and my parents visited me in rehab, and I was just able to touch my finger, my index finger to my thumb, because at one point I was almost basically paralyzed. But when I was able to just even touch my forefinger and my thumb together, I was like, I can plant a seed. If I never get any better than this, I know I can plant fucking seeds, But to have the recovery I have had is,
that's good passion for the plant. Great respect for you.
I think the same thing, man. Honestly, that's why I have become so close with you guys, because I can tell how much you guys love cannabis as much as I do, Yeah. But yeah, man, this has been a great talk, guys.
Yeah, thanks very much.
I do have to go, guys. But thank you so much, Shannon. Please do come on again soon.
I will.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity in South Africa. I think we're going to do amazing things.
No, thank you. And start making your plans.
Absolutely.
I'm going to get April out of the way. And then in May, I'm going to be free to travel.
Cool.
This is amazing. I can't wait to see this, guys. Well, you guys have a good day. I'll get this posted up soon.
Thank you, guys. And to everybody listening, please like and subscribe, as it helps our channel grow, and we're trying to reach the masses. So,
Have a good day, guys.
Take care, everybody.